Hey everybody, it's Cam. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about electric vehicle stocks. This is going to be the weekend update. We're going to look at Tesla, Xpeng, NIO, CCIV or LUCID Motors, and Fisker Karma. So we'll start with Tesla. Tesla basically controls the movements of the vast amount of these stocks, as it is the big dog in just about everything. And still holding the uptrend for Tesla here on the weekly chart. So the big mover for the electric vehicles this week was, the Biden administration's infrastructure plan and basically their incentives for, climate change, green energy, and I believe 180 billion basically to be injected into the electric vehicle market for, fleets, transportation fleets, buses and everything else. So I'm sure we'll see some PR coming out from the smaller companies. It could be workhorses, solos, what have you, about looking at getting those contracts. But Tesla, NIO, Xpeng, they also put out their deliveries for the first quarter, and Tesla actually exceeded the number of their deliveries slightly, but still trading at a pretty insane 1,000 to 1 or 1,000 times earnings ratio right now. But they have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, insurance, whatnot. But it's still going to move the electric vehicle sector regardless, as they're just known for the cars right now, right? That's what everybody's looking at, but they have a lot of other things in the work that are also causing an increase in future cash flows for the company. So Tesla's first here start out weekly. I got a green candle on the weekly, and then this orange line here I drew, basically upward trending line. You got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch on this first candle in March. This long wick not supposed to be there. It's just a mistake on Thinkorswim. Talked about it before in prior videos. But basically sold down into that this week. Briefly broke below 600, 591. Buyers came in, pushed us back higher, and closed the week green. But still, we can't break out of this 9 EMA. And I think there's a $700 level that sellers are just sitting at, and every time it gets close, it's just smacking this thing down. And we've really been oscillating off this 22 EMA. Right, so here back at the end of February, right, sold through it. Buyers came in and pushed us back above. Next week, sold down through it. The week after that, buyers pushed us back above it. Then we get a consolidation week, basically closed right at the 22. Next week, sell down through it, and this week closed back above it. So that 22 is really acting as a pivot point right now. But the 9 definitely is acting as selling resistance, overhead resistance right now. We basically just have been pinging off it the last every week for the last 4 weeks. So look to see if we can break out of that moving forward. But you see, we are holding the uptrend line. It's a pretty steep angle on the uptrend line as Tesla's really moved over the last year. But look to see if we can break out of that. Say if you make an ascending triangle through that $700 level, we could break up higher pretty quickly. And we do have a decrease in volume above $700. So if we break through 700, probably move up to 750 pretty quick. If we go to the daily, we'll see here. So we got the week, basically a little sandwich candle here on Monday. Huge buying strength on Tuesday and Wednesday, right? So look at the volume, just a ton of buying. And then Thursday we got that gap up and we just sold off. And you'll see that similarly with NIO and Xpeng, at least, where it gapped up on Thursday and then sold off through it. And you see here on the daily back below that 22, but we finally do cross over that 9 EMA up into the 50. So we had that retest of the 50 here on 310, couldn't get there. We got the retest here on April 1st and sold off again. So now on the daily at least, we have the 50 EMA acting as resistance, but now we're crawling back in. Got the 9 uptrending, so look to see if that 9 and the 22 maybe potentially we gap up Monday, but that 9 and 22 act as buying support going into this upcoming week. So from there we'll go to NIO, competitor in the Chinese market for sure for Tesla. I can't say the word, but so here NIO's chart, get an inside candle on the weekly. So in this candle is inside the prior week. And you see here we do have this 50 fib level acting as buying support right now, basically about $34. So $34 area is kind of the base we're looking at right now, and below that we do still have the 50 EMA, trending up right now 33.1.
But you see here, just in terms of volume, right? So buyers pushed this all the way up, got into this block of volume sitting right at that 61.8 fib. A lot of volume in the low 40s, got up to 42, 41, 42. Sellers are sitting there, right? So a lot of shorts are consolidated there in that volume. Push this down. So more volume is going to be needed to break through that $41, $42 area. And then above that, we get to that 41, 42. Looks like the next shelf's going to be sitting at 46. And even before you get to 46, we're going to have to break through these EMAs, the 22 and the 9 here on the weekly. But inside candle play, breaks high, go long, breaks a low, look to go short. Go look at it on the daily. See here on Monday, right? So basically consolidating around the 200 moving average on the daily, acted as support prior at the beginning of March, pushes us back up in the EMA, sell off the 22, and then buyers come back in on the 200, right? So it's similar to Tesla, a lot of volume, buying volume at least Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, gaps up right to the 22, sells off by the sellers, coming in, smacking it down. But we do close above the 9 for the day. If we look here just on volume again, right? So pretty big volume shelf above, $42. A lot of consolidation here between 42 and 46 prior. So we're going to need that volume to keep uptrending on the daily and weekly for NIO. As you can see here, we did have a lot of volume on those days. We had that rapid sell-off. Basically this 1 week here, going from 46 down to 32 off their earnings. But we still do have more volume here than compared into February, so look to see if that volume increase continues. Next we'll go to Xpeng, go back out to the weekly. So here a little bit of an additional strength for XPEV as we do poke above last week's high, but still got smacked on Thursday when we look at it on the daily chart. So we pushed through, at least test through that 9 and 22, got that first poke, and crossed through the 50. And this 23.6 fib actually has great buying support this week. If you watched any of my electric videos this week, I was looking at actually shorting XPEV based off just the candlestick setup on the daily. But buyers came in and really held, this $30 area. I think it was really about $31 on that prior day. But so here, just the play I was looking at was this Friday. So we got this inside candle, look to go short it on the low, right? So 31.08, push it down to 30.70, so about 40 cents. But I was really looking for a crack of this 23.6 fib to potentially get down back in the 29 area. But buyers really held the 23.6 fib, pushed us back up, and then we had we basically opened at the lows the next day, never really even threatened that 23.6 fib, and then it basically became a long scenario, right? So as soon as it crossed $32, it's 32.14. That should have been an automatic entry that I missed. Basically, because you have a inside candle, a down, and then a reversal, right? So this day was a massive reversal. As soon as it crossed the high of this candle, that should have been an entry. And you can see here on volume, right, the entire candle's green with the buying volume. Then got the gap up on Wednesday, and then just like NIO and Tesla, gap higher Thursday, sell off, right? So we get profit taking up in here, and also that is that selling occurred right at that 38.2 fib. So right, so if you play a fib setup, you'd like to go from one area consolidation, right, an area of interest to the other area of interest, and then take profit, or at least take partial profit at that target. So look to see if Frank will come back into XPEV. Sorry, I just dropped my phone, it's ringing. But here you see we did move up to the 50 EMA and sold back down through it, so that's going to act as overhead resistance going into this upcoming week. And we also do have this move lower, so the first move lower, the swing low I should say here, from the move back in November, right? So that's we closed below that, so we could have resistance there at that 37.5 level on XPEV. Into next week, if we go to Lee, all right, so Lee's NIO and XPEV, the charts should all look very similar. So Lee here, we got that poke back down here in the 21 area. So again, still respecting kind of like XPEV, this 23 fib level. Buyers are pushing us up on that. Actually, different than the other stocks at least, is that had lower volume this week compared to the prior weeks. So interest is kind of leaving Lee right now. But you see we pushed back up through the 50, didn't quite get to the 9 EMA to test it. So look to see this week if buying strength at least come in. And then you see we are sitting in an area of higher volume. So look to see if buyers will use this 50 EMA as an area to risk off of going into this week, right? So that's buying support off that 50. Look to go higher. If you jump out to the daily, right, somewhat similar here, at least in terms of candle, right? So a little bit heavier selling on Monday. Got the gap down on Tuesday. Buying pressure pushes up higher. Gap up Wednesday. Gap up Thursday. Sell off, right? So sell off sold us back down into the 22 and the 200 EMA, but buyers pushed us back up there before the close. So, and you also see Thursday just a decrease in volume, but an increase in selling volume. So the sellers couldn't get below that level. So that could be a play to look at, is using this 200 EMA on the daily as buying support to look to go higher. And if we zoom out here to just look at the volume, see even here more so we are sitting in the higher volume on a daily standpoint going forward. So buyers could use that as an area to enter. And then we'll go to CCIV. Jump back out to the weekly. Right, so a little bit tighter range here for CCIV on the weekly. Inside candle on the week, so inside bar plays are in effect. Look to go long over 24.47. Look to go short over under 21. Right, basically kind of have a double bottom at 21 right now. 2102, 2107. So if we break through 21, should look to take out this 20.4 level, which is the swing low from its moves prior to the merger being announced as completed. And then if we go through the high 24.47, next target should be that 9 EMA that's downtrending as overhead support. And if you do look right here, just on volume, a lot of volume right about that $21 area. So if that 21 level cracks, could fall, but it could be a good area for buyers to keep adding to their position. And looks like they will protect that, or could protect that $21 area based on the volume. If you jump out to the daily, right, so we flirted with the 9 EMA, so poked it on Thursday, Friday, couldn't quite close above it either day. So we did have gap ups just like the other charts. So gap down Tuesday, gap up, but selling pressure on Thursday, Friday. So we do have some divergence from the rest of the sector here, but still curling back up in the 9 EMA. So look to see if we'll sell down here, or we can go press the 22 and the 50. If you do have the 22 crossing below the 50 right now, so we do have a cross, bearish cross. Look to go lower, but likely decreasing volume into this rest of this week. So look to see if CCIV puts out some PR or something to bring interest back in. And then lastly, we'll look at Fisker. So jump out to the weekly, right? So pretty considerable sell-off here in the last couple of weeks. So pretty different chart setup than the rest, right? So we got this big pop on their earnings and their announcements that they had up into that week. So here we'll make the new fib level. Right, so off that on the weekly, right, so we tried to get up into 38.2 fib level. Sellers came in at that level, pushed this thing back down. So if we keep selling off, obviously first point looks like this 50 EMA fib at 50 EMA level, not a fib, at 1537. Right, and that's right in the middle of this consolidation, so that looks like it'd be a great area for buyers to come in and support. And of course, with that consolidation, you're going to have high area volume down in that $15 area as support. So if you jump out to the daily, right, so the bounce this last week coincides right with the 200 EMA on the daily chart. Gets to push higher, got a gap, doji indecision bar, gaps up right to the 9 EMA, and right at the open, sells off pretty strong on Thursday off that 9 EMA, and still, you know, the slope of this 9 EMA is pretty aggressive down, so we're still in the downtrend. So we could get a retest here of this 200 EMA on the daily, which, you know, it's what, I can't really see it because the cursor's in the way, about 16 bucks, so 15.78. So we could get some more settling down to the $16 area, and then look for a double bottom to go higher on. So that's what I got for you guys on electric vehicles for this weekend update. Hope you got something from it. Let me know what you guys think about the sector going forward in the comments, and if you got anything for me, you can leave it there too. I'll get back to you. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and go Gonzaga.